This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map Magmageddon. It is time for some more 3v3 action. It has been a while since we've had a classic Magma game on this channel. In the top left-hand corner, kicking it off for team number 1 on the left side. This is the blue. This is DutchArmy. In the middle, playing as the red allies. This is A&F. Meanwhile, in the south, playing Empire. Give it up for Readyplayerone. In the top right-hand corner, also representing Empire, playing Cyan. This is Bashley. Meanwhile, in the middle, playing the yellow Soviets. Give it up for Dimon. Going Crane first as well. And in the bottom right-hand corner, playing the green. This is uown. Green Soviets, yellow Soviets, 2 Empire players, 2 Allied players. Could you ask for anything better? I guess you could ask that there is 1 of each on each side instead of 1 side having 2 Allied players and 1 side having 2 Soviet players. A couple of dogs going to be helping to lock down those bears. Meanwhile, on the top side, it is going to be Peacekeepers versus Imperial Warriors. Scouts going out from everywhere to everywhere. And Readyplayerone seems to be the only one who's not actively participating, but that's because he's trying the classic backdoor dojo, and he will cancel anything before the bears get some free kills there. Dimon going to be able to clean up those dogs. DutchArmy going to be able to clean up those Peacekeepers, and nice micro there from Dutch to switch his Peacekeepers between the riot shield mode. Just to be a little bit more annoying, it is going to be a double multi-gunner turret attack. uown is himself getting owned just a little bit here. Switches that ore collector into adaptive armor mode, and he will be able to save it from the terror of that multi-gunner turret. But if the refinery goes down, then saving the harvester doesn't count for much now, does it? Almost the Imperial Warriors were able to step out from that barracks, but some bears came in, cleaned everything up, and now this attack will be shut down. Meanwhile, on the south side, Bashley has gone tier 2, gotten himself at least 1 tsunami tank out on the field, running around, running over those units of DutchArmy. A couple of Apollos showing up from DutchArmy as well, just to make sure that I guess no Tengus come in to support. And these reactors forever getting shot up by this multi-gunner turret, but now that the Dimon Tesla coil is here, everything should be getting locked down, and multi-gunner turret should be getting sold off. Okay, no, it doesn't get sold off. It does get destroyed, so maybe a little bit of a minor loss there for DutchArmy. He could have sold that off, but really not a big deal in this grand scope of things. I think he's going to be pretty happy with the disruption that Readyplayerone, A&F, and DutchArmy were all able to cause with that opening gambit. Meanwhile, Bashley has almost skipped the opening part of the game and instead gone straight for the middle part of the game. 3 refinery setup, tier 2 mecha bay, tsunami tanks, strikers, all of the classic mid-game Empire things that you want to see. Another multi-gunner turret gets eliminated, and okay, Dimon is apparently going to be going on the offense because he has got himself 5 refineries sub 4 minutes. Not something you see very often. More refineries than there are minutes elapsed in this game. However, Readyplayerone is hoping to make sure that those harvesters aren't all working harvesters, as the Tengus come in for a little bit of a harass there, and Bashley gets sent packing in the north side. Ore collectors under harassment. Tengus just about everywhere on the bases of Dimon. Meanwhile, Dimon is potentially going for a 6th refinery up there. I'm not sure that he can really support all of this, but he has a couple of Tesla coils, a couple of sentry guns coming in to defend all of these locations. But it's going to be multi-gunner turrets and a barracks going for the harass. The engineer will be pushed away by the hammer tank, which itself gets denied by the Vindicators, which get killed by the Bullfrog. And nope, the refinery does get sold off before that engineer can capture it. Another hammer tank comes on out. It's going to be a big Tengu swing through by a Ready Player One, looking for the angle, looking for something to kill, and it will be one Vindicator dropping a bomb here. No, the Strikers chase away those Vindicators. The Tengus go for the transform, and the Tsunami tank is here to help support, and the Strikers will have to deal with the Cryocopter as well, so they can't just transform and go to killing those Tengus. They have to worry about the air forces of the allied player DutchArmy as well. Dimon's hopes and dreams of having a vast empire that is everywhere on the map and some quick expansions have been dashed. It's going to be a big transform there as the Tengus go to the sky and the Strikers stay on the ground, getting some extra shots against Ready Player One. A cryo shot comes in, but what is around to actually get the kill on that power plant? The current Lancer is nothing at all. Cryocopter is going to be harassing the 4th refinery of Bashley. As an Empire player, he's like, I only really need 2 refineries, so if I have a 3rd, that's fantastic. If I have a 4th, that's amazing. And a Tengu did manage to sneak in and get the kill on that frozen down power plant. A couple of Tengus getting targeted down. Apollo's going for the kill, rushing in to try and find it. Cryocopter going to be getting chased down, but the Tengu goes down instead, and it's going to be Vindicators coming in from A and F looking for a couple of kills, but it's Bullfrogs from both Soviet players that will win that fight. Vindicators have to get on out of there. Meanwhile, the refinery in the north, the 4th refinery of Bashley, gets eliminated. And it's going to be 2 Strikers in the main base of uown. He was supposed to have a little bit more than that, and this super reactor is going to be next target for these Strikers. 3 Strikers here. Bullfrogs coming in, but hey, there's plenty of Tengus to go around, and these Tengus should be able to box out these Bullfrogs. And no, that's the wrong way. Don't go that way, as these Strikers go for the reverse move away from the Bullfrogs and instead reverse move towards the Bullfrogs. But in the middle of the map, a bigger fight is brewing. Cryo shot doesn't really catch anything, but the Cryocopters get that freeze tag just a little bit there. And, well, that'll be the end of that Striker, but the Tengus are going to be going for the honorable discharge on top of this super reactor, hoping that their final breaths will be enough to knock down this super reactor. It seems like the answer is no, as the Striker goes down, the hammer tank survives, and so does the super reactor. The Tengu will be eliminated. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, it's going to be a toxin drop on top of this quadruple multi-gunner turret, and now Soviet units have multi-defense drones as well. Those point defense drones keeping everything safe for the current moment, and 5 multi-gunner turrets, one of them courtesy of DutchArmy, the rest from A and F. And everyone dodges. Dimon was looking right there. He saw everything coming in, and he did not get trapped by that cryo shot. Tsunami tanks versus hammer tanks. Normally the Tsunami tanks will win that fight. They do so much damage, but when a couple of them have those nano deflectors activated and a couple of the hammer tanks have extra weapons, we'll see how it turns out. For now, the hammer tanks are losing the fight. The Tsunami tanks are ready to go. Back into the middle of the map, it's just more saber rattling between all of those players, and it's nothing much happening there on the north side. The Tsunami tank fight resumes in the south. It's hammers versus tsunamis. The Terror drone makes those tsunamis less maneuverable, and these hammer tanks now have some extra guns. The Tsunami tank also going to get infected by a Terror drone, as these tsunamis are going to try and trade every last bit of what they have to make this work. And the tsunamis all go down long before the satellites ever actually impact that fight. V4s are here. Tier 3 has been activated for at least one of these players. Tengu's going for the transform, and they will be safe from the forces of DutchArmy. Meanwhile, Bashley's Empire forces are helping Dimon maintain control of the middle of the map. Tier 3 allies has been activated as well. Athena Cannon might be popping on out. And yes, we finally do have our first Laser Boy out on the field. Or I guess Laser Girl out on the field, as these V4s get to work knocking down those multi-gunner turrets like they're playing whack-a-mole, and instead it's just pretty expensive multi-gunner turrets getting bopped one after the other. uown tries to step out into the middle of the map, but is going to be finding it a difficult prospect when there's so much harassment here from Ready Player One, who has 4, count them, 4 Strikers locked in on that MCV. Bullfrogs will be able to close the distance, but the Tengus are going to be going for the kill on the bullfrogs. Every single bullfrog will get eliminated, and that MCV is going to be going down as well. Good night to the MCV. Meanwhile, on the north side of the map, it's going to be once again DutchArmy hunting down every Empire unit that he can. Tiny Tengus don't matter when you've got Apollos on standby. It's going to be tsunami tanks and jabs in the north. Cryocopters going for the freeze on a tier 2 Mecha Bay. 3 cryocopters will make short work of that Mecha Bay, and good night to the Mecha Bay as that Vindicator goes up to double vet. Bashley is seemingly getting outmatched in this game, outfoxed and outboxed, but not that Imperial Warrior who goes golden as he slices and dices those Javelin troopers. Meanwhile, out on the water, Bashley's actually going to be looking for the comeback. We've seen it before, and maybe we can see it again. The ultimate Empire comeback. Out from the water come the Shogun battleships late in the game when no one was expecting it. Meanwhile, back in the middle of the map, it's going to be Dreadnoughts and V4s looking for the damage out in here, and ANF will lose this position, at least loses the War Factory, and I think that means the rest of it is not long for this world. Dimon's artillery do make short work of everything on the map that is in range, and in Magmageddon there is not much that is not in range of the artillery. Power plant getting targeted down, conscripts, Tesla troopers, hammer tanks, even Natasha, V4s, bullfrogs, everything just about is here from the Soviet arsenal. Even that splash damage, that friendly fire from those slow shooting V4 rockets. Terror Drone will get the catch on one of those Tengus, and the rest of these units will almost get caught by a Soviet army, but nothing here really shoots anything on the ground until the hammer tanks do show up. Natasha is here as well, not close enough to be hurt by those Tengus, and DutchArmy decides to take the pressure off of Ready Player One in the south because ANF hands everything over to Ready Player One, so now it's a 2-on-3, and DutchArmy is hoping to make it a 2-on-2. He is going for the kill on the Tier 3 Battle Lab. He's looking to knock Dimon back to Tier 1, and this super reactor is also present and ready to be shot at. 8-Poc tanks making their way through the middle of the map, and meanwhile it's going to be one Peacekeeper trying to clear up all of those Tesla troopers, and it's just not gonna happen. Ready Player One may have the expansion, but the Yari mini-subs of Bashley get the kill on the Harvester, and DutchArmy is left 3 tanks behind enemy lines. The super reactor is safe, but this regular reactor is not so safe. Athena cannon, hammer tank under the control of uown. Always a fantastic thing to have as a Soviet player. And man, these hammer tanks are looking fearsome. Many of them with double guns, some of them even with those special abilities like that Athena cannon. DutchArmy loses an expansion in the middle of the map, and it's going to be a couple of Tengus cleaning out a couple of conscripts in the old main base of ANF. A 2v3 is always a difficult thing to do, but in this case, it's going to be cryocopters that are hoping to get the victory here. Chopper VXs in the sky. Bullfrogs aren't in great numbers. uown has a couple as backup, but Dimon only has one single bullfrog, and against an allied player that's usually a bad idea. Natasha is staying home. She didn't get the memo that everyone else is moving out. It's going to be a couple of cryocopters on the front line. If only there was anything here from DutchArmy to actually kill units that are on the ground. He has so many great shrinks, but he just can't make anything happen because of it, and instead it's going to be Dimon possibly washing over this entire base of DutchArmy. Mirage tank from the north, Athena cannon as well, and it's going to be the Strikers getting the kill on the rest of the ground army, ranking themselves up one after the other, blasting away at those hammer tanks. So many upgrades, but they just don't matter because none of them shoot up, and it was the lack of bullfrogs, the lack of MiGs, the lack of anti-air that will seal the deal, seal the fate of that ground army from the double Soviet team. Satellite's going to be coming in, forcing the sell-off of both of these structures. Yeah, sell off the refinery as well. I do not think it will survive a Tier 3 satellite crash, and indeed it will not. Meanwhile, uown is going to have even more problems to worry about as 3 tsunami tanks rock up to his base. Ready Player One has been on the aggressive foot in the south edge of the map this entire game. A Tengu goes golden as he kills off another harvester there, and these harvesters may survive from uown, and it looks like the rest of the base will as well. I don't know what these tsunami tanks are doing. They're going anywhere and everywhere. They're both infected by terror drones, so they are not going to survive very long, and I guess you get as much value as you possibly can. A squad of 4 tsunami tanks trying to break one of these expansions of Dimon, but it's just not going to happen. Apollos from DutchArmy will be able to clean up a couple of those Tengus, and it is a difficult place. It is a difficult map to defend every single angle, everywhere on the map, all of the time. And as you can see, Dimon can't do it, DutchArmy can't do it, no one can do it. They're all going to be losing something somewhere, and it's going to be the Shogun battleships getting a kill there for Readyplayerone. Bashley, on the other hand, rebuilding from that water position, has retaken the land. DutchArmy did not kill Bashley, and now Bashley is back in the game, a force to be reckoned with a mecha bay there under the protection of Dimon. Many buildings have been broken down, and I actually don't know. Okay, yes, the MCV did get rebuilt. uown rebuilt that MCV and has managed to keep it alive up to this point. A couple of Tengus going for some harassment. Bashley and uown, Dimon as well, will clear out the old main base of A and F, limiting the options of the team on the left side. Meanwhile, DutchArmy is going for the kill of that heroic Imperial Warrior as that Peacekeeper dies, but the Javelin Soldier gets the kill. Twin Blades from Dimon, Bullfrogs as well, moving through the middle of the map. Tengus from Bashley going to be taking a little bit of chip damage from those Sea Wings on the water, and 2 Apollos getting clipped as those Bullfrogs find a couple of kills, maybe even a 3rd Apollo as well. And all 5 of these players trying to find any angle everywhere. No one is just sitting in their base. They're all being so active everywhere on the map, and it is leading to some losses and some mistakes, but it's also leading to a fantastic amount of action. Bashley's main base once again gets cracked open, a refinery goes down, and another Imperial Warrior goes golden as that explosion from the Shogun ends the base of uown. So little remains in the original main base of uown, and it's looking closer to a 2v2 than a 3v2. Bashley loses much of the main base over in the north. uown loses much of the main base there in the south, but uown is just going to take a position on the left side of the map, going for the original main base of A and F. And instead, Dimon will scout the map, looking for the perfect targets for his Twin Blades, and cause a mass sell-off from Readyplayerone. Yeah, that Mecha Bay was going to go down, but a refinery and that was a Tier 3 Mecha Bay. Now it's a Tier 2 Mecha Bay, which is getting targeted down, and there is not much hope here. The Twin Blades will be racing against that Striker to see who dies first. And the Twin Blades will not attack the Striker, so they won't get the Mecha Bay either, and that Striker forces away the Twin Blades. Cryogeddon comes in, freezes down a couple of tanks, and the Mirage tank steps forward. I think it's going to be toxins to deter this army, keep it away. Yari mini-subs coming back to the naval base of Bashley to find more damage. Tengus are going to be forced to transform to deal with them, but this is going to be a suicide Yari mini-sub. Almost kills the fully heroic Yari mini-sub as well, and the Tengus will go for the kill, get the final shots there against those Yaris. MCV very low on health, and that is a combat engineer attacking a Tengu. Not something you see very often. Meanwhile, both of the Tengus go down, and the combat engineer gets the heal on that MCV in the face of those Tengus. The Yari mini sub from Readyplayerone does survive. Meanwhile, Dimon is going 1 against 1 with DutchArmy, and DutchArmy's army is finally finding a bit more damage at the expansion of Dimon. Dimon and Bashley have been playing hand in hand for much of this game, the two of them working in concert, working together to attack and defend. Shogun battleships showing up along the southern edge of Dimon's base. Readyplayerone looking for a kill, but he's going to be needing to defend against these Twin Blades. He has Sea Wings. They are nearby, but they're just not doing anything, and Green has been found out. uown, his secret is now known. It is no longer safe as DutchArmy flies over top and donates a couple of Apollos to the Christmas fund of that Bullfrog. So many strikers going down to the satellite drop and also to those Bullfrogs, but the MCV will fall, and one of these goes golden as they look for that heroic hammer tank, ranking up time after time. And Bashley returning to the middle of the map, reforming the Tengu squadron over the top of Dimon's base. The entire naval fleet of Ready Player One has been sunk, but the Tier 3 Imperial docks does still remain. One tsunami tank will not be able to escape, and it's going to be DutchArmy's ground army, which finds so much defense and offensive value. He has been everywhere with these Mirage tanks, these IFVs, even a Peacekeeper mixed in there as well, who has gone heroic, who has seen his fair share of fights and battles. Still, it is technically 3v2. With the sell-off of that refinery, I can't imagine that there is much left on the side of uown. A reactor up here, a barracks down there, a conscript or two, and a couple of flaks. That is it for uown. Functionally, it has been a 2v2 for a minute or two now. uown, he kind of got knocked out of his base, and he has not recovered very quickly, and now his recovery is pretty much done. Oh, he's got a harvester over there as well, but not much more going on. Easy kill here on this refinery for DutchArmy. You know, not a difficult thing to drop a Cryogeddon and kill off a refinery there. Flak cannons coming up. Tesla coil as well from Dimon. He's going to try and maintain build radius here by the use of that reactor. Twin blades do show up, and that is a mistake as the Apollos cut them down, but it buys enough time for that flak cannon to come up. And tsunami tanks from Bashley moving in, going for the harass. Going to get double teamed by the forces of Ready Player One. Another harvester goes down. Another harvester eliminated in this game. The economy graph is going to be all over the place as people expand out big in the early parts of the game and then get beaten back down to almost nothing in the later parts of the game. uown spending every dollar that he's got. I don't think he has an oil derrick anymore. Yeah, his income per minute is slowly dwindling as everything that he's got dries up, and it elapses, I think 2 minutes have to kind of go by before your income goes completely to zero. That's how it's calculated. But his income per minute now at 0, so he truly is out of cash, and he has a lot of flak troopers, so he could still do a massive amount of damage. That's enough flak troopers to pretty quickly kill an MCV, to level any structure that's out on the ground, so he is very much still in this as long as someone can help him get his flak troopers close to the enemy. And obviously that's a huge anti-air threat as well. A couple of Tengus transforming. Bashley and Dimon once again working together nearly perfectly there. Even the point defense drones being added on. A huge number of those units getting the point defense drones. And the hammer tanks can't fight the mirages straight on when you've got things like shrinks coming in. But as long as the leech beams are used, the hammer tanks have a good chance. Shrunken down hammer tanks staying back. Dimon controlling his tanks very well. It's going to be a couple of jabs moving in as well. Those mirages will shred the hammers if they get close, and if they get that opportunity. Tsunami tank's going to be coming in as well, and it's going to be Terror Drone Surprise, not Terror Drone Surprise, but rather the Tank Buster Surprise coming in, and the Tsunamis will give chase. The hammers get trapped in the corner, and this is going to be a win for the team on the left side. They get every single unit there, and the Bullfrogs escape off to the right side, but that is a small concession in this case. Balloon bombs get dropped, and that armor facility down below half health, a potential vulnerability there as the war factory would be eliminated, and then no more production for that allied player. And the war factory survives. So the satellite drop comes in, kills the airfield, but not the war factory. Hammer tanks here. Oh, Cryogeddon gets it all. GG to that army. So many of those flaks going down, and that's pretty much it for uown. Technically still in the game, but that is pretty much it for uown. There's not much left. A couple of infantry just running haphazardly into those toxins and dying off because of it. uown must have got... Oh, he must have had a... No, he can't have cash back. I'm not sure where that money came from. Maybe he sold something off. Maybe he had something else that I didn't know about. Tsunami tanks. Hammer tanks hoping to get weapons from those tsunamis. And, ooh, right on the edge of the range there. One tsunami will go down, though. Getting slowed down, and gives a second gun to one of these hammers. Every time a hammer gets a second gun, a member of the Soviet Union takes a shot. It's their favorite thing to do, because double-barrel hammer tanks are fantastic. Everyone loves a double-barrel hammer tank. I guess unless you're the person that's getting shot by a double-barrel hammer tank. DutchArmy once again gunning for Dimon. These guys are two of the best players in the 1v1 game, and team game is certainly a different kind of a beast. But in this case, DutchArmy is going for the kill on the refinery. He's going to try and disrupt Dimon once again. We've seen this several times. DutchArmy keeps trying to knock down Dimon. It's happened once, or he almost did it earlier in this game, but he didn't quite get the kill on Dimon. And as soon as Dimon falls, then suddenly a 1v2 becomes a much easier prospect. And I mean, technically, it is still a 2v3, but as I said, uown is just so little a participant in this game that he doesn't really count. That IFV might escape. And nope, drives right into the hammer tanks, and he dies. A heroic IFV going down there. Magnetic Singularity draws in that bullfrog. Hammer tank does get frozen down, but not much to do about that. Heroic Mirage tank will get killed off by a terror drone, and the hammer tanks will close in to kill off the peacekeepers and seal the deal. Make sure that everything goes down. MCV getting targeted. Tengus eviscerate that striker. That was quick work. That striker did not last very long at all. But the tsunami tanks are now going to try and close in and kill off this Conyard. Dimon does still have the Crusher Crane somewhere on this map, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. One single Riptide coming in here. Precision Bomber as well to try and kill off that refinery, kill off that Harvester, but it's going to be Twin Blades to try and save this MCV. Readyplayerone is going to... hope that he can get the kill there, but I guess it just won't happen. Twin Blades might actually go down to the Tengu. Strikers will help kill off those tsunami tanks, making sure that the MCV survives. And that tsunami tank has taken a lot of damage. The Tengu is going to kill a couple of strikers over top, and that MCV takes so much damage, it's actually going to go down. Are you kidding me? Readyplayerone gets the kill on the MCV of Dimon and crushes that engineer as well. Toxins get dropped right on the front line just in time, but it's going to be a Tank Buster surprise. And once again, it is going to be Tengu going on the harass. Bashley has been so consistent with this Tengu harass all throughout this game, using those Tengus just about every corner of the map to get kills and to find damage. Meanwhile, Readyplayerone has almost nothing left on this map. A couple of tsunami tanks, one tsunami tank and one Tengu, both are heroic, and the Tengu now going to try and escape to save this MCV, but it won't matter. The MCV goes down, and that Tank Buster goes heroic as well. Everything else explodes, and it is down to the wire. DutchArmy feeling like the most stable player who hasn't lost his tier 3, who hasn't taken massive hits, and technically uown is still in this game. Tsunami Tank gets the kill there, and Dimon's expansions are taking a beating, having a real trouble keeping those expansions up and running. MCV probably was rebuilt by Dimon. I'm not sure where it is. I just realized Dimon, I think, has the only remaining oil derrick still on the map. Precision Bomber comes in, gets a shot, doesn't hit the hammer tanks, but drives them further back. Cryocopters are about to get shredded by these Tengus. They dive deep onto enemy territory, and they will turn around to get the kill on those jabs. The striker gets the kill on the Mirage, and Dimon keeps safe his base once again with the help of Bashley. The two working together as a team, as true as ever, and Dimon has not dared to rebuild that MCV because he's got the Crusher Crane to keep him in this game. Harvester will go down. This heroic Tsunami tank has been doing so much. Ready Player One, with the last few units remaining in this game, has been getting so much work done. He does also have a refinery, but I believe he is out of cash, and he is repairing that refinery, so he was going to rebuild some harvesters, and at this point he can't build a harvester. He can't finish building the harvester, so he might as well cancel that and just devote it to repairs so that he can survive a little bit longer, because if that building goes down, the units get eliminated as well. And this heroic hammer tank, or this heroic Tsunami, has done so much damage in this game. Things have kind of slowed down, but at the same time, DutchArmy gets a chronosphere. A cryosphere would probably be what allied players would like, and the War Factory is about to go down. So the Crusher Crane is still here. Never fear, Dimon is not out of this, but the War Factory does get eliminated. So I think that is the last War Factory of Dimon. Technically, he cannot produce any vehicles until he rebuilds that. And once again, uown, who has a couple of dollars in the bank, but has sold off his reactor and doesn't actually have enough to build anything. I'm not sure why he's still in this game, but he's going to be able to get something, and this Peacekeeper is going to go heroic as he kills off this Tank Buster. Surprise! The real surprise was the Peacekeeper that was there waiting for you. Magamageddon goes down. Refinery as well. The Magmageddon gets the win there in that engagement, and DutchArmy has been just about playing for two players most of this game. He has been representing both allied players in this match. Ready Player One manages to save that Tsunami tank. Dimon has been the bastion of strength for the team on the right side, but he has taken an absolute beating over the course of this game. And the Tengu just playing Ring Around the Rosie with this Ore Collector, not wanting to fight the Ore Collector directly because he just wants to kill off this refinery. He doesn't actually care about killing off the Ore Collector specifically. He just wants to eliminate that refinery and not worry about the rest. Hammer Tank gets a kill on a Peacekeeper over there. Tsunami Tank finds this open expansion, and eventually this refinery might go down, but at the very least this Harvester is off the line, so the Tengu doesn't have to worry about that Harvester being productive at the current moment. Bashley still in this game. Dimon still in this game. uown still in this game, and less than a minute on the chronosphere timer, so somebody is going to have to worry about that. DutchArmy doesn't necessarily have the ground army to step out and win the game outright, but this chronosphere could absolutely zap one of his opponent's armies and just eliminate it from the game. Dimon never stopping. He will always find a way to rebuild something somewhere, and Ready Player One also with these two units fighting to the absolute end. Walls getting rebuilt. Chronosphere. I'm saying the wrong thing on accident instead of saying it on purpose. Chronosphere ready to go. 0 seconds on the clock there. Where will it be utilized? I imagine it'll be used to sink a couple of hammer tanks. These two hammer tanks getting sent to Davy Jones' locker would be good for the allied player. And the Yari Mini-Sub finally gets the kill on that Tsunami tank. So now Ready Player One is down to just one unit. A little bit unfortunately there. And one lonely Tengu. Oh, wow. And also one building, which actually isn't reporting on the UI, so there's a bit of a bug there, unfortunately. And the satellites will be getting dropped in. Ready Player One has been defeated. DutchArmy stands alone against, technically, 3 players. So technically, this is a 1v3. And the refinery goes down. So no big victory there for DutchArmy. He does have 4 refineries under his control. They pretty much are all depleted. Okay, this one does have 12 grand still left in it. And of course, those depleted refineries are useful and are still good, but they just slow down the pace of the game so much. Magnetic Singularity coming in. The MCV has been rebuilt. Toxin drop as well. Really quite a classic combination. I feel like we've been seeing that quite a bit over the last year or two. I feel like we didn't used to see that as much in, 10 years ago in Red Alert 3, but we're seeing it a decent amount this year. And Bashley is about to lose another refinery and kills off the flak cannon as well. Bashley down to just one depleted refinery. Nope. 2 refineries, about to be 2 refineries, and one of them actually has a load of cash left in it. Dimon versus Dutch Army is what this is feeling like, but do not count out Bashley. At the very least, those point defense drones have been extremely useful throughout the entirety of this game, but Bashley's co-working with the cooperation with Dimon has been fantastic. And I mean, pretty much all of these players have been playing great this game. You can maybe make an argument for ANF because the majority of this game played out without ANF, who probably left the game and sort of thought that his friends would be done with that match in a couple of minutes and they'd all get to go again. But instead, everyone else is still played as we cross just about the 35-minute mark in this game. Tengu going on the harass. The last help of Readyplayerone was that heroic Tengu, which still remains to this day harassing Dimon's expansions there in the south. Balloon bombs, seemingly the only way the team on the right side has been able to get some aggression onto the team on the left side, which is really just Dutch Army, is indeed Chronosphere? Chronosphere onto the building, onto that war factory, opening up the door for these Mirage tanks to make their way through. Apollos are here to shred that Chopper VX, and it's going to be the MCV running away from these Mirage tanks out onto the water. It's going to be the Chrono Rift to stop those Terror drones from having an effect in this game, and they will come back online as the Mirage tanks close the distance and the Terror drones all go down, but the MCV escapes out to the water, and one lonely conscript from uown is harassing the refinery of Dutch Army, and there is not much more that you can ask from uown. He is doing the absolute maximum that he can, but now he truly has been defeated, and Dutch Army is now playing a 1v2. He has saved himself from the harassment of that conscript, so pour one out for the conscript that we will all remember. Javs, Peacekeepers, and Mirage tanks tearing apart the main base of Dimon, and Dimon and Bashley probably trying to find some kind of an angle to knock Dutch Army out of this game. Bashley has been a very functional player in this game, but the problem with Bashley is that total resources gathered has just been so much weaker than the remaining players in this game. Bashley's economy was hit hard early on, and it never really recovered to where he wanted. It has been diminished for the majority of this game. I mean, 100k versus 164 for Dutch Army and 200k for Dimon. And Dimon has not a lot to show for it, but he does have a war factory in the south, and there is a fresh refinery coming up on top of a 6k ore node for Bashley. MCV deploys. Dimon is like, okay, I'll just take back my main base. Fortunately, okay, why did he call in those magnetic singularity toxins? Yeah, okay. Oh, and Dutch Army walks right into it with a line of jabs. Mirage tank goes down as well. A bit unfortunate, but the hit back is going to be the Magmageddon. You knock me down, I will knock you down as the as the naval yard goes down, the refinery as well. And Bashley now with very few dollars left in the bank and one working refinery is once again up against the ropes. Bashley in an extremely difficult situation for much of this game has been doing as much as he possibly can, and that harvester is not going to make it to some repair drones, so I guess you just go ahead and chalk that one up to a loss. Final squadron getting called in, maybe on top of this refinery. No, they're going for the power plant, but it gets sold off. Dutch Army still trying to fight this one out. Against the odds, he has risen above. Chronosphere is ready once again. Hammer tanks could go out to the water. Nope, they will not. And does he cancel? I think he canceled. Oh, he completely whiffed that. He missed all of those tanks. I thought he canceled it, and that's why nothing activated. But, nope. It whiffed. Riptide comes in. Riptide will get a kill on that Harvester. Armor does get activated, but, you know, most of the health bar is already gone, so the Riptide doesn't have much of a challenge to kill off that low health Harvester. Dimon low on cash. Bashley with a couple of dollars in the bank, but is going to have to rebuild that naval yard. Fortunately, his nanotech mainframe did survive, so he does have the option to go back up to Shoguns. Harvester gets eliminated. Their satellites crashing down onto that refinery, and it has been depleted for a long, long time. DutchArmy, if he could actually step out onto the map and get up a working expansion that had some cash in it, then he would be able to do something. But honestly, one of the most powerful things in the last couple of minutes has just been the fact that DutchArmy is fighting against 2 MCVs. So he's got 2 sets of top secret protocols that he is fighting against. For example, as the Empire top secret protocols get activated on top of these Soviet units to break down the front door of this base, and it's going to be a cryocopter hunted down by those bullfrogs, the war factory getting broken down by these Mirage tanks, a heroic Mirage tank with a heroic hammer tank, excuse me, with a Mirage weapon on top of it, and DutchArmy has been cracked open. Tank Buster Surprise comes back as well. Bashley finally finds the damage that he's been looking for with that Tank Buster Surprise, and DutchArmy will fall to the combined might of Dimon and Bashley. It's been a good fight. It's been a hard-fought victory for the team on the right side, and it will come in here at the last moment. A Cryogeddon fires off too little too late, and the MCV will escape out to the water. $987 to his name. DutchArmy is hoping to make some kind of comeback happen that would be truly, truly amazing out on the water with a tier 3 allied MCV. And the cryocopter goes down, the Apollo gets eliminated, and that Sea Wing finds himself promoted as the game ends. The GG comes out. Bashley and Dimon will get the win. uown sticking it out as long as possible, fighting the good fight for sure. And all the way back there, that's when ANF left the game. Readyplayerone and DutchArmy doing a phenomenal job as a 2-player team against everyone else. And, well, that is how that one will wrap out. Some great Red Alert 3 Magmageddon 3v3 action. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Sybert signing out.